Good morning. Oh, I was inspired to talk about quite a few things this morning, but one that kind of stood out is pretty important because it's another form of detox that is just as crucial as internally detoxing. So it's important to do a juice cleanse. When at least starting from the absolute bottom. Like I drink too much, or I whatever you do as far as taking substances. I mean, for me it was just I drank too much. I didn't drink every single day, but I drank enough to keep myself in a low vibration. Basically, put it this way. When you had a fun night with friends or whoever, and it takes like a few days till you feel like yourself again, and then you're like, I feel great, let's go drinking again. at least in some of my social circles, that's how it kind of was. We'd have a great time, let's say on a Sunday fun day, and then we push ourselves to go to work on Monday, or take Monday off to just veg. And then I'm service industry, so that's kind of the norm for us. but take Monday off to kind of veg. Tuesday you're kind of feeling better, but you don't have your energy back. Wednesday you're like, okay, I feel pretty good, and then you might have a drink or two, and then come Wednesday night, Thursday, you're like, I feel fantastic. Who wants to go have a drink or whatever? Well, when we're doing that all the time, week in and week out, we don't actually have enough time as our optimal self to come to new conclusions about life, to have new ideas drop on our head, to put new ideas into motion, to apply things that we've read about in a book to our life, to apply anything to our life. We haven't had enough time to pivot or to level up. That takes a lot of time. And so the very, very first step to manifest anything in your life, anything positive anyway, you have to have some sort of momentum built. And so if you only have one day a week that you're feeling your optimal self, how are you going to even come up with an idea of something new that can change your life for the better? So that's why we kind of stay in this low vibration without even really knowing it, because it's kind of just normal to, go out, socially drink, and then, take a couple days to recover to get to the place that you're your optimal self. So I kind of knew this before while I was still drinking, but I really got some good insights when I stopped, like for a few weeks or even a few months. And then I would have a couple of beers. My ex and I would have, and we were broken up at the time too. We still remained really good friends off and on. But anyway, I would have a couple beers with him. It was kind of like a social lubricant, things to avoid any awkwardness. I'd allow myself to have like a tall can. I would bring like a tall can, and I was fine with it, and he respected the fact that I didn't want to party. I just was like, no, I'm really trying to work on my lifestyle. But so even though I only had a couple of drinks, I would still have the intention to go back to my personal growth journey or path. But I would notice that my energy wasn't quite my optimal energy, even after just having a couple of beers. So that was my first indicator, like, wait, there's something to this. Like, this is definitely, here I am, I've been sober for weeks, or I haven't been drinking for weeks, and then just that small amount, I feel completely healthy, I feel very clear-headed, I'm not dwelling on anything right now. So, so this was all about, oh my gosh, this is energy. This is all about our energy. And so how do we maintain that positive energy, or at least know how to get back to our optimal self quickly so that we can stay in our path? So my point is that even if you're not a drunk or a party animal like I was, if you want to manifest wonderful things in your life or level up in your life with drinking, it's only going to, it's not that it's going to stop you. It won't stop you because you have your eyes on the prize. You're still going in that same direction. However, it can take it's going to shed days off of your manifestation process every time, hours or days. So if you have, let's say a day of recovery, just one day of recovery a week, or a day that you're just like resting and like don't want to do anything, that's 52 days a year that you're not getting to your goal, you know. And then that of course has a compounding effect too. So let's say, you know, you not only didn't produce anything, you might have spent money and your judgment's still a little bit off too. So anyway, I want to actually focus more on the internal work, because this is big. This is really big. For me, I knew there was something. Okay, so a lot of people are like, oh, this person's not this person can't be a drinker. And I was like, shoot, you know, over the years I was falling more and more into that category. Like, oh, Stacy can't handle her alcohol, you know. At least that's what I projected. That's what I thought people thought of me. And so that was scary. That's scary because at that point, society says you can handle your alcohol or you can't. You know, it's black and white. And so intuitively, I thought, well, it's probably because I have some sort of dark, I would call them demons, you know, inside me, that if I just didn't have those, they wouldn't come out when I drink, you know. Like, I'm this happy-go-lucky person normally, you know, so why do I get triggered, you know? And so that was key. That was really important to find out, you know. So I kind of set off on this quest to figure out what is it, because towards the end of you know, my partying days and my depression, you know, it wasn't a party anymore at all. It was just like pure depression. And luckily that was pretty short-lived. Well, the deepest, darkest part, the last time, was short-lived, because I at that point was like, enough is enough. I keep going up the spiral and feeling normal, and then right back all the way down, and up the spiral and all the way down. So I was like, what, it keeps tripping me up, you know. There's something that's you know, going on. And so within the last couple of weeks, or days I should say even, I wasn't acting myself at all. And a big indicator was my family would have these blanket texts, and I would just say random stupid things. And even as I was writing it or sending it, I was just like, that's not me. That's not me. Well, who is that? You know? And finally my older sister called me out on it. She's like, what is up with you? You know, you're not Stacy, you know? And that was it for me. I was like, you know what? This isn't a secret anymore. I'm not just hiding my feelings. You know, before I thought of it as, I don't want to burden my family with all this internal drama I had going on. So I just would hide it and mask it and numb it and repress it. And now now I realize that by doing that, by not expressing your true feelings, that's what creates a demon. That in itself is what creates these they become these traumas that we just bury them. And because we don't want to look at them, we don't want to burden other people with our problems, you know. And so you're taking these small just one moment, these stories that happen in our lives, they end up getting much bigger, but on a different level, because they start to kind of crystallize inside of us. And so now I realize, as something happens to me, I deal with it head on, right then and there, and you know, write about it, journal about it. I do my daily diaries. I just get it out, you know. And then it's like, that story's gone now. That's not a part of me anymore now. I don't identify with that anymore at all. Like, it's over. There's nothing I could do about the past. There's nothing, and then anything productive I could do about it, I handle it right then and there. I just handle it. And I could safely say it's been months and months and months and months before I've had any kind of drama, anything, and it feels so good to not carry around those burdens anymore, and if I have a financial dilemma, I tackle it as quickly as possible so that it doesn't exacerbate, it doesn't get any bigger. And because now I have the tools to do that. Before, it wasn't a conscious thing. It was just, I was so unconscious. I was so just going with the motions that small things that I just kind of brushed to the side or said it's okay, it became a much bigger thing. And so now I'm going to bring this in a lot because it's super handy. This is by our beloved Abraham Hicks. The emotional guidance scale, and I realize this is backwards, but maybe I can fix that. It doesn't really matter. So this is where I'd hang out like day one, ground zero, all hungover and like low energy, and then dwelling on whatever happened yesterday or somehow things of the past so I just kind of hang out here. And then right around here is where I would go out drinking again. I feel good, my energy's back, I'm content. Right, getting up into the upward spiral. I would go and do it again. And so then we get trapped in this cycle of this low energy, low vibration. And so I wasn't giving myself, and everyone's going to be different. Everyone has their own tailored, traumas and issues and whatever. And I'll get into that later. But anyway, so we feel better, feel better, and then we do it again. So, and then we'll get this little high, of course, like all our problems are kind of gone when we drink, but then we actually pretty quickly end up back here again, where there's fears, there's irritability, there's anxiety, there's panic, embarrassment, shame, discomfort, just negative emotions, Well, when you abstain, you have the energy to tackle the things that were bringing this about your life in the first place. So the longer you abstain, the higher you go, and the higher vibration and frequency you operate in. So the longer you're able to maintain that, you're able to build this momentum so that you kind of hang out here for as long as you abstain. And then that's giving you the energy and the power to tackle the things that may have, I didn't even realize that I had some childhood stuff that I still hadn't dealt with, and that's something that came to manifested itself in different ways later. And that's something I'll mention in a whole other videos, I should say, because that's what kind of was part of a spiritual awakening, which is I consider they're definitely intertwined, because I couldn't have had such a profound awakening without abstaining for so long. But now what's cool is I still can have a drink, I can still partake, but I know my limits, because now I don't ever want to get below like here ever, because I know how dark it can be over here, and I don't like that place. It's a living hell. It's hell on earth, and it's not fun at all. And you have these temporary moments of relief from it, but then we end up trickling back down to here again. And the more that's on our plate, the faster we end up down here, and the longer we hang out down here, and the more we start to manifest ugly things into our life, that it's perpetual. It just happens. We end up in this hell on earth, and that was me off and on for years. And now I'm far enough back away to see it for what it was, and realize that that's not my story anymore. Thank God. That's not my story anymore. I don't have to identify with it anymore, but I still am aware of it and I honor it because I never want to go back there. And I want to continue going on the upward spiral, because that's where we manifest wonderful things effortlessly. As long as we're always happy and find ways to be, good fun, innocently happy, wholesomeness. We find joy in nature and time with family and good friends and, enjoying a good cup of coffee and getting that paycheck and like, ooh, what can I go get with this? I've been eating new bed sheets or whatever. Those small things I used to just take for granted. Because I didn't really know what true gratitude was. Because I was hanging out down here for so long, I didn't know how to experience joy or gratitude or true, authentic happiness. When you drink, that's superficial happiness. That's superficial. We're chasing this superficial happiness. It's not real. It's not real at all. And so the longer we abstain from it, now I look at alcohol as like a treat, and I just have a different relationship with it completely. And I know what to stay away from completely, because those certain spirits will just get me right back down here so quickly that I don't want any part of that. I don't, and it doesn't make me feel safe in any way or comfortable. So I just know what to steer clear of and what mental state I have to be in order to, if I want it. I'm at the point now I don't even want it. I don't at all. So, once in a while I might have a glass of wine and I truly dilute it with ice and water or club soda, and I sip on it for like an hour, maybe 2. So, now and it took a while to get there, but, I've been using my body as kind of a specimen, because I'm very interested as to why people behave a certain way on a macro level when they drink. Not so much, oh, this person gets drunk and they get, that's interesting too in itself, but I wanted to know, why is a lifestyle change so necessary for some people, and some people they can just, kind of skate through life without any issues at all. And it's a lot to do with our traumas that we push down, and our demons that we don't face. So, and I remember knowing that I have to face my demons. I didn't know how. I didn't know how to. And so through abstaining long enough and adopting spirituality into my life, that is when I'm like, oh, okay, there's all these different tools, extremely powerful tools to tackle all of that internal drama. And so anyway, this is getting long. This is getting into my 20-minute zone, but yeah, so I'll get more and more and more into this, but in conclusion, we need to be able to realize that if we have some sort of pattern that's going on with alcohol, we do have control over it. We do. And we don't have to. This was huge for me, realizing that I don't have to say, I don't like when things are black and white. There are gray areas, and I'm a solutions-driven person. And now, the longer I abstain from alcohol, the more I kind of feed off of that. I love finding solutions. And so realizing that things are not black and white when it comes to alcohol at all. And there's no blanket treatments for everybody. Everyone is different. So if we submerge ourselves in all good things, all wholesome, wonderful things, and detox all the, not just substances, but the negative Nancy's and the news and our environment, get rid of anything that doesn't serve you, that doesn't, if part of the whole cleansing process for me was, luckily I was in the process of moving when I decided to go on this journey. So it was really cool that I was able to start completely fresh in a whole new environment. However, if I didn't have that option, no, I would still be taking bags to Goodwill. I would still be getting rid of anything that reminded me of my past, that didn't really do anything for me anymore. including clothing or pictures or whatever. Just anything that makes you feel, get rid of it. Get rid of it. It's not doing anything for you, So, and then replace them with things that make you happy and things that make you feel like a kid again, and wholesome and innocent and pure. And that's how you start to begin to create your own heaven on earth. And because if you're in a happy environment, that your whole soul will be fulfilled and happy. And it's baby steps, but it feels so good once you purge, and then start to adopt the new things in. And so this is I think this is just going to be video number 1 to a series, because there's so much to say about detoxing and getting rid of anything that's no good for you. And then also bringing in everything that brings you joy. So anyway, that's it for now. Bye.